Hey guys, I'm Boot. We're in New Jersey, and today I'm going to talk about switching operating systems. One of the things recently that has been troubling me is Microsoft's blatant just no F's given about what data is yours and who they're passing it off to and whatever's happening in the world. And I can't necessarily continue to use Windows in good faith anymore. I'm using an older version of Windows 10 right now just to kind of bypass some of the hinky BS that they've done to Windows and not have to deal with the Windows 11 nonsense either, because I feel like we're guinea pigs now and we have to test things out like that. And they make changes as we test it and things are broken, and not expect them to be spying on me or whatever it is. And I'm just tired of having my Microsoft account, try to be hacked over and over again on a daily basis and not seeing anything get done about it. And these, attacks are coming from random places, which means somebody probably using a VPN is trying to hack my account. And you know what? More power to you, buddy. But I feel like, being in Windows, I've had to learn how to do so many things. I've had to learn how to basically be a computer technician, to a certain extent. And you shouldn't have to have like a bachelor's in computer sciences to be able to run Windows efficiently and know how to fix your problems. So then I decided to look around and see what I could find. And of course, the more you want things to be free and open source and whatever, the more it costs you in time. And so, learning a little bit of Linux, learning how to use the terminal commands to set up my, specific machines in specific ways with specific, hardware, that's really cool. But again, it borders on that fringe of computer science bachelor's degree level of knowledge that you need. So just from a standpoint, where I love Linux, don't get me wrong, I love Linux and what the idea of it is. However, in this day and age, that idea is very lost. We don't do things to forward, excuse my watch. We don't do things to forward the progress of mankind anymore. We do things to kind of do that, but put it behind a paywall so that we can line our pockets. And, capitalism is great in some ways, but it really hurts us as people, and as a society. It tends to hurt us in the long run. The unfortunate thing is I've spent probably the past 20 years of my life trying to build a Hackintosh. Not necessarily build a Hackintosh, but basically compile things to make it work on a PC. And I always wanted to get into the Mac space. And the problem is the price point is so effing ridiculous that it puts my 7900 XT 7 something plus tax, it came to like 8 to shame, because their budget desktop is $1,200 or $900, and you don't even get decent specs. You have to pay so much extra to get these decent specs put in there that you can never upgrade, you can never fix it. You have to take it to somebody who can do, board repair to have these things fixed. And this is just heaps and heaps of money. With a PC, you lose a part, you replace it. It sometimes it costs a little more, but you're gonna have that longevity. You know what I mean? You buy a new part, it's new, you're putting it in, and there's no issue, unless there's an issue, and then RMA. It's kind of one of those things that I don't want to have to go through with something like that I paid $1,200 for. I recently just fixed my iPhone 11. I paid $1,200 for this when it was semi-new. And I broke the screen. My own fault. I threw it to demonstrate how good my case was, and it just so happened to land face down on a rock. Now, I'm stuck with a $35 shit screen that half the time touches itself while I'm not even touching it. I put it on the charger and it goes buck wild. It is what it is. It's a necessary caveat to maintain technology. I've had this phone for probably 2.5 years now, I think. And I got the Pro Max and I loved it. But again, at that price point, I can't accept anything less than having to bandage it together, you know, pay a quick, you know, cheap price to get it fixed and back up and running. And I don't want to deal with that with my PC. But I don't want to pay an arm and a freaking leg because I have to buy a whole new computer because something went wrong. We use these flash memory chips and we forget how volatile these can be. I'm ranting. Anyways, I don't have to have a bachelor's in computer sciences to run this thing. Any idiot can hop on here and figure it out. And one just did. So let's get over to the computer and take a look at it. Anyways, so this is my main desktop here. You can see I'm on a Google Hangouts window. Just because I have a background that's full of tech crap and crap everywhere. It's like my bedroom slash studio slash workspace. So it's a mess. Anyways, I digress. So let's go over to one of my favorite things so far is that at a moment's notice, just like on Windows, when you hit Alt and Tab to switch between windows, you can hit the Windows key, which is actually the Mac command key or whatever it is, and Tab, and it will pop up this little section of things, and you can see like the Finder windows open. I have my Arian webcam because I'm running an Android phone as a webcam right now. I have my Messages app available. I love that I can get in my computer and jump on the phone and then have to text somebody back. I could just move over like it's a window and switch over to it and type whatever I need to type, send it, and be done. I don't have to worry about if I have signal, if I have service, because I live in a really crappy signal service area for cell phones. I don't have to worry about that. I get the text, I send a message back, and it's as easy as that. Whether they have an iPhone or whether they have an Android phone, it works either way. So, back over to the PC here. I'm going to jump into I have an apps thing, so I usually watch like a YouTube video or something. And, while I'm working online, I like to be able to watch things and talk at the same time. So I have a little laptop set up that I use for my video conference, and then I use my main PC to do whatever. Look into the news, look at news on YouTube videos, look at interesting things that might interest myself and as well as the person I'm talking to, and, kind of get a little info and have that conversation as we're, just hanging out together, basically. Windows has like this split screen, okay? Now the split screen is great. I love the split screen. The problem is resizing the split screen just really screws up everything. And when you go too small, it gets even more strange. But one of the things I really like is the ability to grab and drag another bar over, right? And then I can, okay, so this is actually a full screen. That's the only thing is when it's a full screen, it treats it like a whole different window. And that kind of bothers me. And I know there's apps that you can use to snap windows like in Windows, but easy enough. I can just take this, I'm going to tile this to the left over here, I can tile this one to the right, and I can grab right in between and just move the whole thing over. Now what happens in Windows is if I do this, sometimes it drags one window and not the other, and then I have to try to resize that window, and then it just doesn't work out as well. So I love having this availability that I can jump right over to like news stories or something, and if something catches my eye, I can just grab it, drag it over here, and then read it off in this window. So it's very handy to have that. Also, I can go, I can just go ahead and close this window over here, and then that'll take full screen. Well, I don't have to have it full screen in that way. I can also double click on the top, and it's now in a full screen mode with still allowing the menu bar to be seen. So I can also click right here and it will clear my screen so I can see whatever I need to see on my desktop. And that's a beautiful thing. I can click back on it and it comes back. Easy as that. As well, this has been one of the most interesting platforms that I've used because I do have a Loop Deck. I have a Loop Deck Live and I really enjoy using it. However, I have a group of settings that comes already set up, and then I have some other settings that I've already set up, and I have like some stuff for video editing here. I have OBS stuff right here, So I can, you know, control those things as well. I'm, you know, have now volume and my media controls for YouTube when I'm on here, which is nice. And, you know, as well, I have the screen capture. I have iMovie set up, OBS, Finder, Chrome, Launchpad, and Media Play Pause for whatever reason. I kind of like that spot for my play pause buttons just because in Windows I was using it with Wondershare Filmora. But speaking of Wondershare Filmora, my alternative to this has been iMovie. I just recently put out a video about the 7900 XT and I edited it in iMovie. And I really enjoy that, you know, being able to use these things the way I was able to use them and to learn a little bit while I was working on these things. The only thing I don't like about this program in particular, I mean, it's a great program for, you know, right off the bat, you know, as soon as you open it up, boom, here's a video editing program that has backgrounds, it has transitions, it has title screens, animated title screens. It has, you know, your spaces where you can put your media in and your audio video stuff. And so it's just amazing at the type of work you can do in this really, really basic editor that is really, really well put together, and it does output some very nice video. And, you know, that's pretty much it for iMovie. So let's move on to the other thing that I really use my computer for, and that is audio and editing. And with this, you get stock, you know, bone stock GarageBand. And I'm not mad about it because I was able to sit down and recreate a song from 20 years ago and put lyrics into it from 20 years ago. And it just works. And it sounds, the mix sounds amazing. And I hardly, like, I didn't even need to stress the mix. And I usually do. I usually stress the mix because I'm not great at it. But like, man, that's just wild. One of the other things I love is that, you know, a lot of times I'll have a crazy window up or I'll be watching a video and I get disoriented as to where my mouse is. And so I can go ahead and shake the mouse and actually see the mouse gets bigger, which is so friggin' cool. So friggin' cool. The mouse just like, there I am. Perfect. Give a little shake, boom, there I am. So as you can see, I have, you know, my applications and all that stuff. But in my Windows, the close buttons are here, minimize, and full screen and maximize kind of thing. So it's close to Windows, but it's on the other side, and that drove me a little bit crazy when I first started. But, you know, it was something I got used to the more I used it. Also, using the Alt key or the Control key to do things, I'm also learning, like, instead of Control C to copy and Control V to paste, or Control X to cut, it's actually the Windows key or the Command key and those keys, you know, to do all the different things. And so it's so strange to me, this big difference that I'm seeing. I mean, I could jump right into the Launchpad and look at, you know, these are regular apps that come with it. So bone stock, this thing came with some stuff. It came to play. Windows, can you say that about Windows? Windows came to play with what? Windows Movie Maker? But that was like 30 years ago. Have they fixed it since then? Have they made it better? No, they probably took it away. I don't even know that it's still in Windows anymore. I was able to install Steam on here, and there are some games that work for Mac. However, those games are not the greatest thing I've used because, you know, some of the AAA titles need that extra layer of compatibility. And sadly enough, that extra layer of compatibility comes from a virtual machine, which, I mean, I'm already running virtual on virtual, I guess, in that case. So it can't do virtualization. I don't know why that is, but, you know, if I actually had the $1,300 Mac desktop thing, whatever it is, or the, you know, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 freaking Pro Mac, whatever trash can, Swiss cheese grater looking thing they come out with, you know, if I had the money for that, then I could use their, you know, software that does that emulation layer, and I could get access to my AAA games. The only flaw in this operating system that I have is that I can't game on it, and I can't game on it because it's not a real Mac. So that's kind of sad. And like, one of the things I used to notice was, so if I get the info for this file here, one of the things I also love is I can see that this is 25 gigs. Okay, this is 25 gigabytes. I'm going to move this from one file to another. Okay, I'm going to basically just copy and slide it on over to here. And let's see, was that any time at all? No, it took no time at all. I have access to FaceTime as well, so you know that works as well. I have a Ryzen 5800G that has the video turned off because I was using a graphics card. And I mean, it works. It just works. So it's a 4.3 gigs AMD processor. Okay, so it actually knows it's AMD, and it has the 5500 in here as well. I can't connect the 7900 XT to it because it's just something that doesn't get recognized. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say is I have been so against Apple for a long time because of the expense of getting into the ecosystem. Can I justify the price by the ease of use? Kind of. I mean, I don't mean to sound like an ignorant a-hole, but like, really, I just had a better time on Mac than I did on Windows. You know, I can't game on it, but I mean, I can always go back to Windows just to game, but Mac may be where it's at. It's just easy to use. It's very simple. And coming off Windows, I didn't have so many problems with it. Of course, some of the apps are a little different. There are some things you can't do, I guess, but I'm not there yet. As just for the daily driver user, you know, on the browser and on the music side and video side of it, I'm really enjoying it. It's something that I don't have to think too much about. I can just do it. And, you know, I can get Wondershare Filmora for this. If, you know, I deem that this is going to be something I'm going to be sticking with for a while, then yeah, why not? I'll put out the extra $60 for the program. I love it. And, you know, that's basically it. But iMovie and GarageBand come right out of the box. What more can you ask for? If anybody has any questions about, you know, this system and you know, if I can do certain things or not, you know, that would be greatly appreciated down there in the comments. One of the things, though, that another downside I have is that my Wi-Fi and Bluetooth module is built into my motherboard and it does not recognize it. So I would have to use an extra Wi-Fi Bluetooth module. Probably something USB. I'm thinking I'm going to try those and see if they work, and you know, I'll probably put an update about that. But in the meantime, that's about all I got for this one. So thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.